Imagine this. You're walking down the street minding your own business when someone bumps into you. They spill their coffee. You didn't move. You were standing still. And yet the first word out of your mouth is sorry. You just apologized for existing in a space you had every right to occupy. Your brain glitched. You became an NPC in your own life. This is called reflexive apology syndrome, and you probably have it. It's not in the DSM, but it should be. Because millions of people walk around saying sorry for things they didn't do, for space they're allowed to take up, for needs they're permitted to have. And the worst part? You don't even notice you're doing it anymore. It's buffed into your personality like a permanent debuff. You can't unequip. Here's the mechanism. Your brain is running ancient software in a modern world. Back when humans lived in tribes of 150 people, getting kicked out meant death. No grocery stores, no dating apps. Just you and the wilderness and a very short life expectancy. So your ancestors developed a survival strategy. Appease everyone. Smooth over conflict before it starts. Apologize even when you're not wrong, because being right isn't worth being alone. That code is still running in your head. Every time you say sorry for no reason, you're trying to prevent a social exile that isn't coming. You're solving a problem that doesn't exist. But there's more to it. Children learn this behavior early. If you grew up in a household where conflict was dangerous, where a parent's mood could shift like weather, you learned to apologize preemptively. You said sorry before anyone could get angry. You took blame that wasn't yours because it felt safer than letting the tension build. Your nervous system got trained to associate apology with safety. Now you're an adult, and you still do it. You apologize to your Uber driver for where you need to go. You apologize to the waiter for ordering food. You apologize for apologizing. It's a feedback loop, and you're stuck in it. The psychology gets darker when you realize what this does to your brain chemistry. Every time you apologize unnecessarily, you're reinforcing a neural pathway that says you're in the wrong. You're literally programming yourself to feel guilty by default. Your brain starts to believe that your presence is an inconvenience, that your needs are burdensome, that you should shrink, and the more you shrink, the more you apologize. The more you apologize, the more you shrink. It's a death spiral of self-worth, and most people never even see it happening. Women do this more than men. That's not opinion, that's data. Studies show women apologize significantly more often in professional and personal settings, even when they haven't made mistakes. Society trains girls to be accommodating, to not make waves, to smooth things over, to take up less space. By the time they're adults, sorry becomes punctuation. It's how they start emails, how they enter rooms, how they ask for what they've earned, and the tragic part. Research shows that people who apologize excessively are perceived as less competent. You're trying to be likable and you're making yourself look weak. The strategy backfires, but you keep running it anyway. There's also a power dynamic element that nobody talks about. When you apologize for things that aren't your fault, you're handing power to the other person. You're saying they're right and you're wrong, even when the opposite is true. Watch what happens in a workplace. The person who apologizes constantly gets walked over, gets assigned extra work, gets blamed when things go wrong. Meanwhile, the person who never apologizes, who takes up space confidently, even when they mess up, that person gets promoted. It's not fair, but fairness isn't how the game works. Social hierarchies reward confidence. They punish self-deprecation. Every unnecessary apology is you volunteering for the bottom of the ladder. Now let's talk about the people who trigger this response in you. They're not innocent bystanders. Some people learn to weaponize your apology reflex. They create situations where you feel compelled to say sorry. They sigh heavily when you speak. They look annoyed when you ask for help. They make you feel like your existence is an imposition, and because you're wired to smooth things over, you apologize. You take responsibility for their bad mood, their inconvenience, their feelings. You become responsible for managing their emotional state. That's not kindness. That's people-pleasing. And people-pleasing is just conflict avoidance, wearing a nice mask. The mechanism behind this is something called fawning. It's one of the 4 trauma responses alongside fight, flight, and freeze. When your nervous system detects a threat, and you can't fight it, or run from it, or play dead, you fawn. You become extra nice, extra agreeable, extra apologetic. You try to befriend the threat. And here's the glitch. Your nervous system can't tell the difference between a life-threatening predator and a passive-aggressive coworker. So you fawn in situations that don't require it. You apologize to people who don't deserve it. You give away your power to protect yourself from danger that isn't real. But let's get cynical for a second. Some of you reading this are thinking this doesn't apply to you. You're thinking you're just polite. You're just considerate. You're just Canadian or Midwestern or raised right. Let me tell you something. Politeness has a boundary. Consideration doesn't require erasure. If you're saying sorry more than twice a day for things you didn't cause, you're not being polite. You're being scared. And the scary part, you've been doing it so long you don't even feel the fear anymore. It just feels normal. Here's how you know if you have this. Pay attention the next time you apologize. Notice if your body tenses before you say it. Notice if you're anticipating anger or rejection. Notice if you feel relief after you say it, like you just avoided something bad. That relief is the tell. You're not apologizing because you did something wrong. You're apologizing because it soothes your nervous system. It's a compulsion disguised as manners. And compulsions don't go away just because you understand them. They go away when you practice doing the opposite thing, even when it feels terrifying. The takeaway is brutal, but necessary. Every time you apologize for something that isn't your fault, you're teaching people that you're willing to be wrong to keep the peace. You're training them to see you as someone who absorbs blame, someone who can be pushed, someone whose boundaries are negotiable. And once people learn that about you, they'll use it. Not because they're evil, because humans are efficient. We take the path of least resistance. If you make yourself the path of least resistance, people will walk all over you and never even realize they're doing it. So here's your homework. For 1 week, ban yourself from apologizing unless you actually did something wrong. Watch what happens. Watch how uncomfortable it feels. Watch how people react. Some will respect you more. Some will get confused because you're not playing your usual role. And some will get mad because you're not managing their feelings anymore. Let them be mad. Their discomfort with your boundaries is not your emergency. You've been setting yourself on fire to keep others warm. Time to let the fire go out. Time to stop saying sorry for taking up space you were always allowed to have.